am feeling better. I think, well, my husband does too. A lot of it had to do, well, it was my sinus, and it would just pound in certain places. Mostly when I would cough or sneeze, you know how that goes? You just feel like you're... Anyway, we have been in an excessive heat wave right now. I think we're still supposed to have extreme heat tomorrow, and then it's supposed to start cooling down. Here in Nebraska, we never know if that'll be the case or not. But hopefully it is, because it's been getting up. There's been days when they said there might be times when it would get up to like 115, and that's nuts. Joe's been getting out in his garage, but he swears to me that he stays in there, or he works in there, and he has a fan going the whole time. So he's drinking a lot of Gatorade, maybe too much Gatorade, I don't know, but he's getting the fluids he needs. But so we think probably my sinuses were being affected by the humidity. The air conditioning has hardly stopped running, and I've got my thermometer it's an ear thermometer, but it'll also take, you know, the temperature of the room and stuff. I don't know what I think our AC is probably set at like, I don't know, 71, 72, but it was over 73, which isn't bad in the house, but it's when it's running that much and it's still got, we wake up in the mornings. I'm starting off with kind of a weird, but I'll get this out of the way and then we'll get our painting done. In the mornings we wake up, and the outsides of our windows are just wet with humidity. That is just so, it is just humidity. It is dew that has been pulled up out of the ground. It's about the only way I can say, but the humidity has just been horrendous. And it may have burned off most of it, but we're ready for a cool down. I'll put it that way. Anyway, tonight's, okay, I'm going to read from my large print. Tonight is, all of this creation week is exciting, but tonight is a whole different thing. I was reading it out there, but okay. Genesis 1 verse 14. And God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heavens, to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs, and for seasons, and for days and years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven, and to give light upon the earth." And it was so. And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And God set them in the firmament of heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the fourth day. Now the lesser light was the moon. Now, I agree, I know, that the moon does not actually give off light, but it reflects the light of the sun during the nighttime. And that is why it's called the lesser light, because it does reflect light from the sun. So we have the sun, that turned out looking pink. I'm going to try. Okay. And the moon, which we know is much closer to the earth. And then there's stars. Well, the stars are still there during the day, which just we don't see them. I'm going to take you through. There's the dipper, one of them. There's a dripper. Let's give Orion his belt. I'm connecting the dots. Gotta have a little fun. Okay. That made it a little bit messy, but not too bad. Gotta have some fun. This kind of kept everything on Earth in kind of a greenhouse. And so they didn't need rain. The dew came up from the ground, and this was kind of misty around. There was some, but had never been any rain. But it kind of contained that moisture as well as. But then, okay, I'm sorry. Then he separates the water and calls it ocean or sea from the land, or from the land, which he called earth. And so that was another day. Which day am I on, guys? I mean, today's the 4th day. So, yeah, okay, those were the first 3 days. The first day, he created the earth, and it was void or empty, and he kind of surveyed it, I guess, I don't know. But anyway, his spirit moved over. I shouldn't be adding like that. His spirit moved over the face of the waters. So then he pulled some of the water up off of the face of the earth and placed it in the sky around the earth. So you could paint these as a bunch of white clouds or whatever. I just did this way to realize, yeah, that's water. Okay, yeah. The 3rd day he divided the land from the sea, and then he ordered the land to bring forth grass and herbs and trees and everything. Well, there's all kinds of vegetation, and everything was to bear seed in itself so that it could continue to replenish and grow. And that's exactly, because I mean, grass, that's what this was here. But the grass makes its own seed, and it makes more grass. The fruit on the trees, like these apples, they fall to the ground, they rot, which is part of the fertilization, and the seeds inside become more apple trees. And that is how God, I mean, corn, it's its own seed. Everything makes its own seed as far as the plant world. Well, so does man and animal. So does man and animal, for that matter. And now, he had already made night and day, but the light at that time was him. When the vegetation started, the light was God himself. I mean, because now is the 4th day, and he has created the sun, the moon, all the stars, and by now he probably is finishing off the creation of not just stars, but the other planets and other solar systems. The thing is, it fascinates me. Earth stood alone. For the first 3 or 4 days, or the first 3 days, the earth stood alone. Now the fourth day comes, well, and on the third day he also commanded vegetation, plants and trees and herbs and all that kind of stuff. And now he has created the sun for daylight and the moon to reflect the light from the sun for nighttime. And tomorrow, or on the 5th day, he's going to be populating this. So man is kind of, man, whatever. We want to think that a lot of them don't even want to think there is a God. And they need to change that. But they're also trying to make up these ways, and they measure by, it's like trying to measure space with a ruler and thinking that the few inches that we have here are going to be the same kinds of inches out there. Or when it comes to how long a year is. A year here is 365 days except on leap year. And that's when they catch up all those hours and stuff that have accumulated because the time isn't set exactly that way. But the Bible does say it is to be for years, it's to be for months, and that's... Okay, I'm jumping in here. Waves like sound, they are not static. They may have a specific speed, but they're not static. They spread out as the time goes longer. So that's why I don't really think man-made measurements can count. But what we need to realize is God's power. God has unlimited power. And all he has to do is speak, and it happens. Now, how that works as far as, he's right down there in every little particle level or whatever thing that, science wants to rule him out. He's there already. So, science can try to rule him out all they want, but... And there's one thing, too, where, sometimes over history, the church has made errors in their judgments. It was first thought that everything moved around the earth. And then it was... God created it. Earth first, and then later he created the sun and the moon. But he distinctly, he distinctly said that it was to mark for days, for years, and for months, for these heavenly bodies, these like this. And so when it was discovered that the earth actually revolves around the sun, the earth revolves on its own axis once every day. That's why it's called day and night. And the moon goes around the earth about once a month. And we go around the sun every year. This is fascinating. this is engineering at its most powerful level. And then but before he put these in the sky, he started vegetation. Because he is light. Anyway, I just get fascinated and excited, and then I just want to, but this was what he did on, it might seem like that little bit of those couple of verses that define it, that's not a lot. It doesn't take a long time to say it, but it didn't take him very long to do it. But think of the power and the intelligence that God has, and we try to take him out of the picture. What's that? There's no, it doesn't matter how far back they go with anthropology and archaeology and geology, there's always going to be another thing that it gets down to, you can't explain it. There's always going to be that little level in between those particles where God is, as well as everywhere else, and you cannot tell if that particle or another particle, when did they come to be? See, there always has to come down to forever. There always has to come down to eternal, and that's God. I want the message more than the beauty of the painting, because what God did was gorgeous. It's beautiful, but I can't this whole creation week I've been portraying it on this one piece of canvas. So I may have to change tomorrow though, and because he's going to start creating animals. Animals. So I'll talk to you then. I love all of you. Thanks for being patient with me having that terrible headache and not being here to do this, but thank you also for welcoming me back. And please subscribe, click that notification bell, and give me a thumbs up. Oh, I don't have any paint on it. Okay. Love you guys. Smile and wave. There's yours. Good night.